Hey, what's up, spooky fam? It's that time of the month to recap everything we watched in the previous month. Today we are doing my Letterboxd recap for April, everything we watched in the month of April. I will say, April ended up being a slower month for movies, but a really good month for TV shows. I will just kind of spew off in the beginning, but first, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more. Check out all of my links down below if you'd like to support me or the channel any further. Let's just talk about Fallout. I won't get too into it because I feel like Alex and I are gonna kind of dive into more about Fallout together, but as someone who played a lot of Fallout growing up, I really was excited about the show, and to see how true it was to the game made me so happy. But I felt like I was missing a couple of things, specifically like super mutants and like things like that. Like I just wanted like some of the villains, and Walton Goggins is just amazing. I really loved the world they created. I love the vaults. I love the wasteland. I loved every single. Matt Berry was doing the voice of Cobblepot. He was in it for one episode. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So I loved Fallout. We also watched Baby Reindeer, which if you have not watched it, guys, it was so good. I did log that, so we won't count that. That's one of the 23 things I did log. But I thought Baby Reindeer I gave that 5 stars right across. I was so affected by it. It brought up a lot of emotion for me, and I wasn't expecting that going into it, and I feel like having that emotional connection to the show really brought it home and sold it for me. So if you haven't seen Baby Reindeer, honestly, maybe check out if you guys are a little sensitive to unwanted sexual advances. There is a whole portion dealing with that, and that's all I'm gonna say because that was a little hard for me to get through. I also made Alex watch Girls. We won't get into it because it's not horror, but it was a show that was really close to me growing up, and I felt like I needed a rewatch and I needed him to experience the cringe. So we also started Physical 100 season 2. Amazing. I can't think off the top of my head, but also obviously Vanderpump Rules. Anyways, let's get into the horror movies. Also, my Letterboxd is always linked down below if you guys want to follow me there. I am always logging, making lists, keeping up with that kind of stuff. So if you would like to keep up with me on Letterboxd, it's down below. All right, starting off on April 6th, we watched Baghead, and I don't know, I really didn't like it. I feel like we had Talk to Me and I was okay with that. I feel like the similar themes were in this one. It wasn't a movie for me, but that's okay. If you liked it, totally cool. So I logged Dune Part 2 on the 7th, but it says that in my review, I had watched it a week before. Dune was so good. I said over on my main channel that like Dune for me has become my Star Wars. I love I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm here for the sandworms. I don't know, just something about how the world has expanded since the first movie. It has just gotten so much better. I feel like the characters have really evolved. Like the people who are in it, like the actors, have really maybe embraced the world a little more and sold it more in the second film for me. I really enjoyed the score in Dune 2. Oh my god. Chef's kiss. I just really enjoyed Dune 2. On the 13th, we watched What Jennifer Did, the true crime doc that has all of the kerfuffle about AI. It was fine. I feel like some true crime YouTubers covered it better. But also on the 13th, we watched Colobos, which I covered in my game horror movie list that I made last month. And it is just like a forgotten 90s gem that kind of sucks. But if you like the 90s, the vibe of 90s films, check out this one. It's pretty easy to find, I think. On the 14th, we watched the documentary Brandy Hellville, The Cult of Fast Fashion. And I'm really happy that we watched this because I feel like a lot of my anxieties were confirmed because of that. I have always had a hard time. I grew up an overweight, awkward-sized teenager, and I feel like I've grown into my body and really embraced, you know, I've embraced the saying that clothes are meant to fit my body. I am not meant to fit into clothes. So if it's not a size for me, that's fine. But it's the fact that, like, the Brandy Melville culture was, like, meant to shame girls into being thin and meant to, like, make the girls working at these stores kind of feel like they have to, and like shopping, like the one size fits all. I would never be able to fit into that. And it's like they treated their employees bad, they treated the customers bad, and that kind of gave me anxiety. Like growing up, I had so much anxiety going in, and I still do sometimes, going into a store and just like looking around because I feel like I'm being like shamed. And I think it's that culture that Brandy Melville and those kind of stores created, was to make you feel shame when you're buying these clothes but to spend your money anyways. And I don't know, it was a wild documentary. There was one thing that stuck out to me, and it wasn't even about like the doc itself. It was just a quote that one of the girls said, that her parents called her Door because she would like go in her bedroom and like slam the door all the time. That's crazy. Anyways, on the 15th, we watched a film that has been on my watch list for so long called Dogs Don't Wear Pants. If you guys want a really good like erotic thriller, check this one out. If you've seen the show Bonding, which I feel like was canceled way too soon on Netflix, very good show about like the BDSM under subculture. I feel like if you liked that show, if you've seen that show, you'll really enjoy Dogs Don't Wear Pants. I think it was it was a love story, and it ended up being a love story that like just had so much trauma and sadness and love kind of wrapped into it. It was such a beautiful film. I really enjoyed it. It's on Shudder. But on the 16th, we watched The War Zone. And this was a recommendation from Spooky Astronauts Emma. Thank you, Emma, for this one. It's not that like I had a hard time. I did have a hard time with it. Like, it was definitely a disturbing film, but it was like, I knew, like, without knowing too much about it, what I thought was going to happen was like at the forefront of my brain the whole time. And then when it finally happened, it felt like I got punched in the face. Like, that's what kind of movie it was. It was so just like traumatic to watch, but like that's what you know what, I'm just gonna go on a tangent here. Just because you like films, just because you seek out films that may be disturbing or weird or strange or disgusting or what have gore, just because I like gore, because you like gore, doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't make anybody a bad person. It's media. At the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is just fake, and it's up to you to be a responsible person enough to discern what's fake and what's real. And if you do have an issue with it, just separate yourself from it and don't make other people feel bad about liking disturbing media. And I feel like if you are in the horror community and have seen some of the discourse around what I'm talking about, I don't want to like call anybody out because I'm not that kind of person, but I'm just saying, if you like what you like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, and you know the difference between consuming media responsibly and not acting out on, or not being like a bad person, like it doesn't make you a bad person. Anyways, rant over. I really like disturbing films, and I'm just gonna leave it there. I want to watch a film and I want to feel I want to have a visceral experience, because that's what cinema is. It should make you, it's art. It should make you feel something. Anyways, a movie that really made me feel nothing, we watched Immaculate on the 16th, and that is a movie that I feel like I could have used a little more gore in. And I feel, if you've seen it, they're like people in red morph suits in cloaks. I could have gone without that. I feel like it would have been a little more effective if it didn't just look like they were wearing red morph suits. And also, if you've seen the movie, I'm not going to spoil it in any way, shape, or form, but the ending, I would have loved to have seen what we heard and not just have heard it. But I will say, Sydney Sweeney has a set of pipes on her, and she screamed in our face, and I felt that. On the 16th, we watched a film on Tubi called Slay. It felt like a almost From Dusk Till Dawn with drag queens, and Alex and I are really big fans of Drag Race. So to see some of our favorite Heidi in Closet, Crystal Method, and also Trinity the Tuck, it was really cool to just see like some familiar faces acting in like a horror movie. Like, even we love camp, we love cheese, so I feel like even if it wasn't like, I didn't give it the greatest score or rating, it was a fun movie to watch. Okay, let's talk about I've said this a million times, Late Night with the Devil. We watched that on the 19th, and this was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and for good reason. I talk about enthralled. I was saying to Alex the whole time, my meme in the last years of her life, we watched a lot of like the Game Show Network. We watched a lot of older TV shows and like variety shows and things that reminded me of Late Night with the Devil, and that's why I was so excited to finally see it. And I feel like if my meme, my grandma, if she was still alive, and if I would have shown her bits of that film, she would have fully believed that it was real. Just based on how much it made you, because she probably didn't know who David Dastmalchian is, so she probably would have bought the whole thing, you know? And that was really effective for me, was just how good it was sold as like a piece of maybe lost media. And God, it was such a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the payoff, but as always, I just wanted a little more, and I feel like I'm a little selfish for asking that because it was such a great film. But I wanted a little more. I wanted to see more. I wanted a little more developed in the ending. But I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4.5 because I loved it so much. So on 4/20, we watched The Tunnel. It was on Shudder. It wasn't the best. There's a part 2, and I feel like we'll get to it eventually, but I feel we were like looking for a really good film to watch on 4/20, and we could have gone with Goldmember. Goldmember and Pineapple Express are like our two stepbrothers. This Is the End. Those are like our movies to like laugh at, but we've watched them so many times. Like, those are our like go-to late night watches when you just need a mindless watch. We went back and watched Scary Movie 3, and boy did I just giggle through it. It was the best, the best choice for a 4/20 watch. Alex and I always look at each other and say, Cindy, the TV's leaking. It's just, there's so many jokes that came from that like we say all the time, and it was so funny to just hear them like watching the movie because we hadn't seen it in a while. It was just really fun to watch. On the 21st though, we went to the theater. We had our first theater watch of the year. We went to go see Civil War, and there may be a lot of discourse for that film as well, but I for one really enjoyed it. I thought if I would have seen it at home, I feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, but seeing it completely interrupted in IMAX with incredible sound and just having that kind of visceral experience on the screen in front of me, I had to like cover my ears for a few scenes because it got too loud. I had a couple of jump scares. It was a really, really well executed film. And excuse me, I was talking to Alex and I was saying that I feel like this has become my favorite Alex Garland film. And maybe we can do a ranking of all of his films if you'd like that. Let me know if you'd like a video of like directors ranking their films. That sounds fun. But anyways, let me know what you thought of Civil War. I gave that one a 4.5 as well. But when we got home from that, just needed a mindless watch, and we threw on something called Horror Anthology Volume 1. And this is not like your horrible, or this is not your normal anthology where there's like a wraparound story. There's nothing like that. It's just a bunch of short films put together with like title cards, end beginning, different directors, just a bunch of random short horror films put together for an hour. And I enjoyed it. There was a couple memorable ones. There was a short film for The Night Swim, which was a movie I hated, but the short film concept wasn't that bad. And there was a short called Changeling, which actually starred the daughter from The War Zone, so that was a nice coincidence. On the 23rd, we did binge Baby Reindeer in one whole day. And like I said, it just right to the heart. On the 26th, we watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe with Joe Bob and Darcy the Mail Girl. Really fun experience to kind of watch that with the producer, the writers of the film. It was really cool to learn some more backstory and just enjoy the film. I've already seen it, but like, I feel like I enjoyed it more the second time watching it with, I always enjoy watching a film with Joe Bob. On the 27th, we watched Humane. We were lucky enough to get a screener for that. As a huge David Cronenberg fan, as a huge Brandon Cronenberg fan, I have now become a huge Caitlin Cronenberg fan. The Cronenberg family is just, I'm in awe. There's like no misses for me yet. Okay, maybe Cosmopolis. Maybe Cosmopolis, David Cronenberg. I'm sorry. Maybe that one is your miss. But I don't know. I'm just a really big Cronenberg fan. This one was really... It's a disturbing idea to think about, but it's not executed in like quite a disturbing way. It's just kind of dystopian. Sun bad. Umbrella good. But I don't want to like spoil it in any way, but I feel like if you really like the Cronenbergs, you'll enjoy this one. It doesn't have like a strong body horror vibe. It's more of like an eco horror, but I really enjoyed the take on this film. Very cool. We had a stacked day on the 27th. Alex goes, what do you want to watch next? And I said, I want to watch Secretary, because I've never seen it. And we watched Secretary, and I really enjoyed it. I was just in the mood for like an erotic film. Sue me. Something about James Spader in the 90s, 2000s, man. He's the Lizard King. We also watched The Arist Girl, which was really cool. I'm sad that I slept on this film because it is really good. Told in 3 parts about catching predators online, and I had no idea that's what the premise was, and I don't want to spoil anymore. Yes, it involves like an AI, but let me tell you, it evolves into something that makes you think about a lot of our current climate. So I would recommend, if you like sci-fi, if you like a full-on sci-fi, futuristic sci-fi film, check out The Arist Girl. Also on the 27th, we watched Infested on Shudder. Well, let me tell you, I was itchy the entire way through. We're sitting there and I'm not even realizing, but I'm just like itching everywhere, and the spiders in this film, I really, speaking of another like eco horror, this one had a lot of great subtext to it. It was just a really well executed creature feature that was not played for laughs, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that it was taken so seriously because it made the threat feel so much more real. Alright, on the 28th, we had 1 miss and 2 hits. We started off the day with Mute Witness from 1995. It was on Shudder. I really did not vibe with this one. It is like part Russian, part English. Just it's a mismatch. It was not my vibe. But let me tell you, after that, we watched Monkey Man, and I was kind of preparing myself to not enjoy it, but I fucking loved Monkey Man. That movie was so, I was like doing my makeup getting ready to film, and I had to like tilt my head forward because I was crying and I just had to let the tears fall. It was so good. I just appreciate Dev Patel so much more as an actor, a director. This film was so well executed, and like I said in my review, I don't like how people are comparing it directly to John Wick. I don't think that there's enough besides like the suit aspect and like the revenge aspect to be compared to, but I do like that there was kind of a nod to John Wick. I don't like the comparison, but I like the nod to it, how they actually like said John Wick in the film. I just thought there was so many parts that I thought made the film more important. It just felt so important and such a great story to be told. And then on the 28th, we watched Love Lies Bleeding, and that was another movie. That movie, by panic. Let me tell you, I literally sat there like, it was so good. I feel like in sitting with it, I really like Rose Glass. I really think that she has a unique voice. But there was a couple scenes near the end where I just kind of looked at Alex and I was like, it's not fucking real. There's no way that's real. That's not real. It's not happening. And if you've seen it, let me know if you know what I'm talking about, because I'm trying not to spoil like the newer films for you guys. But there was just a point in time in that film where I was thinking, something's not adding up here. But I really enjoyed the kind of, not like, it was like it felt like such a masculine story being told with such like she was so, like, Katie O'Brien just in that role, she gave us feminine, she gave us masculine, she gave us everything in between. She gave us everything in that movie. And Kristen Stewart just kind of, you know, I don't know, I really enjoyed Katie O'Brien in that. She was very cool to watch. She just kind of gave me exactly what I was expecting out of a female bodybuilder, and I loved it. So that's all we watched for the month of April. Let me know if you've seen anything that I've mentioned. I have a new series coming up this month where we are going to be talking about films that we kind of intentionally skipped, and we're going to go back and watch them and kind of vlog style do those videos. So stay tuned for that, because I am really excited to kind of switch things up and add a new series onto the channel. Let me know your thoughts on the little tangent I went on about disturbing content. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say. And I will see you guys in the next video. Sayonara, Spooky fam.